Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign team is focusing on Wisconsin right now as they try to shore up support in the Rust Belt. More than 1,000 people door knocking across the state this weekend. It is close in some of these swing states. Trump holds a 1-point lead in Wisconsin, according to a Fox News poll, and the two are tied in both Michigan and Pennsylvania. Dr. Nii-Quartelai is with us now. He is the host and chief political analyst for A More Perfect Union, KBLA Talk, 1580. Oh, I'm hearing we don't have him. Well, we'll work to get him.
Here.
Oh, you're there.
I'm here.
Oh, I hear you. You hear me? I don't see you. We'll work on that part. As long as I can hear you, we're good. Let's talk about the importance of the Rust Belt and a choice from one of these critical swing states right now in the election. How much is that factoring into the calculation for the Harris camp?
I think it's factoring in enormously. I mean, just this weekend, it was 100 days of action, marking 100 days until the election. The Harris campaign is out there on the ground, in the field, knocking on doors. We're talking about a surge in volunteers, over 170,000 new volunteers for the Harris campaign. We're also seeing a record number of fundraisers, over $200 million raised for Harris. And so what is she going to do with all that money? She's going to invest in a pretty serious ground game. And if this weekend is any indication, get ready.
Joe Biden's approval rating right now is dipping below 40. Do we start to see her differentiate herself and distance herself from Biden moving forward?
I don't think we can expect to see her differentiating herself from President Biden. Remember, this has been the Biden-Harris administration from day one. I think where you might see some more distinction is in terms of her tone when it comes to her position on various policies. So, for example, we know that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was here in Washington, D.C. just last week. After his joint address to Congress, he met with President Biden. He also met with Vice President Harris. And Vice President Harris was very direct with him in terms of some of the challenges around getting humanitarian aid to people in Gaza. And so I think we can expect to see a change in tone, but not a change in policy. This is an administration that still believes that we have one president at a time.
During her time in the Senate, Dr. Quartelai, she was deemed one, if not the most liberal senator in choosing a vice presidential running mate. How critical will that be for her to find someone who complements potentially her weaknesses and is more moderate?
I think there are a number of considerations afoot, and you certainly have heard of a number of top-tier candidates for the VP slot. As it says on your screen, Senator Mark Kelly, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Governor Andy Beshear of Kentucky. If her relationship with President Biden is any indication, she's looking for a governing partner. She's looking for someone that can be a uniter, help her to unite the party and help her to unite the country. Which constituencies do these potential VP picks speak to that complements the constituencies that are already at the table, that are already enthusiastic about a Harris candidacy? We know that there are a number of Republican voters, I'm thinking specifically of Nikki Haley supporters who have made their support for Harris well known to the displeasure of Nikki Haley herself. But who is the vice presidential pick that's going to help to attract voters that, quite frankly, have felt orphaned over the course of the past couple of years?
And if you were to predict who that right person would be of the faces we've been showing, who do you think it will be?
I think they're all stellar candidates. I think Vice President Harris has the judgment to pick the right VP because she's been the right VP for President Biden, delivering for folks in the Rust Belt, delivering for folks all across this country. I think Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania is pretty impressive, but they're all impressive for different reasons. And I think all of them are going to be needed in order to bring the Harris campaign over the finish line in November.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.